Get ready to delve into the inner workings of one of the most fearsome extraterrestrial creatures to grace the big screen. Boris, the animal from Men in Black 3. We're about to take a closer look at the anatomy of this intergalactic baddie, so grab your neuralizer and get ready to have your mind blown. Figuratively, of course. From his projectile-throwing limbs to his true form, we will explore what makes Boris tick and why he is someone you would not want to mess with. So sit back, relax, and let us dissect Boris, the animal, like a true Men in Black agent. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin. What alien species does Boris belong to? Boris the animal, the last of his kind, a Boglodyte alien from the planet Boglodotia. These parasitic extraterrestrials had quite the appetite for planets, making them quite cosmetic foodies. But thanks to the ArcNet shield, their invasion plans for Earth were foiled, leaving Boris as the only surviving Boglodyte. These spiky-fingered beings with mushy skin and fanged teeth may not be winning any beauty contests, but they sure had some impressive abilities. With superhuman strength and the ability to breathe in space, they were basically the Chuck Norris of the alien world. And let us not forget their handy little foot appendages for some extra grip. But what really set these creatures apart is their symbiotic relationship with the deadly Bug-Eye, a crab-like creature that shoots lethal spikes at high speed. Boris could control his Bug-Eye with guttural vocal commands, which makes me wonder if they ever argued about what to watch on TV. All in all, the Boglodytes may have been a terrifying species, but at least they had some seriously cool technology. Their spacecraft was equipped with tentacles and globular circles that could plow through buildings like butter. Who needs a bulldozer when you have a bioship? Sadly, the Boglodytes are now extinct, except for Boris, who I'm sure is feeling pretty lonely out there in the galaxy. But hey, at least he can take solace in the fact that he is the last of his kind and has some seriously impressive skills. Well, he could have, until his death at the hands of the Men in Black agent, K.
Boris the animal. It's just Boris.
What does the true physical form of Boris look like? Oh, Boris the animal, the last surviving member of the Boglodyte alien race. But what does this creature actually look like in its true form? Well, let me tell you, it's not for the faint of heart. Picture a creature that is part human, part arachnid, and part echinoderm. It has got spiky fingers and claws and a long reptilian tongue that's sure to give you nightmares. And don't forget the dozens of sharp fang-like teeth that are revealed when Boris snarls. But that's not all. This shape-shifting being can also mimic the appearance of a human, complete with glasses to cover up his empty eye cavities. However, if you look closely, you will notice bulges in his forehead and chest, and slits in his hand, where his deadly Bug-Eye companions reside, who he has nicknamed as Weasel. Honestly, I don't know which is scarier, Boris's true form or his ability to blend in with us humans. Either way, I think I'll be sleeping with the lights on tonight, and if you guys think he's not that scary, well, we can just agree to disagree, right? Is Boris's pet living in his hand a part of his body? Boris the animal and his trusty spider-like pet, the Weasel. But the question on everyone's mind is, does the Weasel actually live inside Boris's hollow hand, or is it a part of his body? Well, let us take a closer look. The Weasel provides Boris with deadly spikes as weapons and when released takes down his foes. Sounds like a pretty handy pet. But it also has been implied that Boris had two spider-like pets in both arms, which makes me wonder, do these creatures just hang out in his limbs like they're on vacation or something? In the normal 1969 timeline, Agent K severed Boris's left arm, killing the left arm spider. So I guess in that case, the pet was definitely a part of Boris's body. But in the altered 1969 timeline, Agent J maintained continuity by severing the arm of 1969 Boris, which begs the question, was the Weasel living in that arm too? In a way, it can be implied he has a weirdo pet living inside his arm. The Weasel has a limited amount of projectiles it can provide Boris, probably due to the fact that it feeds off the calories that Boris consumes. It could be an explanation for Boris the animal's taste for cakes. Honestly, I'm not sure what's scarier, the fact that Boris has deadly pet spiders living in his limbs, or the fact he can survive having those limbs severed. Either way, I don't think I'll be asking for a hand from Boris anytime soon.
I feel younger already.
How does Boris time travel at will? Boris, the time-traveling criminal, has got some serious connections, but I guess that's what happens when you're serving time on the moon. But let's give credit where it's due. Obadiah Price, the inventor of the time jump device, really outdid himself with this one. I mean, who needs a DeLorean when you have a device that can send you back and forth through time at will? Of course, MIB had to go and ruin all the fun by making time travel illegal throughout the universe. Hey, they did have a good reason. They didn't want any criminals messing with the timeline and causing chaos. And with Boris on the loose, you can bet that they had their hands full. Now, time travel may be illegal throughout the universe, but that doesn't stop Boris from trying to change the course of history. When he attempted to kill Agent K in 1969, he visited Price's son Jeffrey, a black marketer, to acquire the time jump device. Of course, Agent J was hot on his heels, also trying to get his hands on the device. But I also have to give Agent J some serious props for taking on Boris and using the time jump device to his advantage. I mean, who wouldn't want to go back in time and fix a few mistakes here and there? Although I have to wonder, did he ever get the chance to go back and fix the terrible haircut that he had in the first movie? All in all, it's a wild ride with Boris and the time jump device. Who knows where he'll end up next? Maybe he'll even go back in time and prevent himself from getting caught, but then again, we all know how that usually turns out.
Sorry, darling. We did love the cake.
How is Boris in terms of his personality? Well. If it isn't Boris the animal, the guy that makes Hannibal Lecter look like a teddy bear. He's got more rage than a volcano, more arrogance than a peacock, and more cunning than a fox. He's so ruthless that even the Terminator would be a little bit scared of him. Boris doesn't discriminate when it comes to killing. Whether you're an alien or a human, if you're in his way, you're as good as dead. And don't even think about helping him, because he'll probably kill you anyway just for the kicks. He's the kind of guy who puts the psycho in psychopath. All in all, Boris is quite the character. He's got the brains, brawn, and bad attitude to make himself one of the most fearsome foes out there, so just be sure to steer clear of him if you value your life, or your sanity for that matter. Is Boris capable of love? Can he reproduce? Boris the animal, the spider-like alien with a heart as cold as space itself. He's not only a ruthless killer, but also a lover. Of cake, that is. And he's got a girlfriend too, Lily Poison, played by none other than talented singer Nicole Scherzinger. Together, Boris and Lily make quite the dynamic duo, breaking out of the Lunar Max prison with the help of Boris's trusty spider-like companion Weasel, who was smuggled inside in a cake. It's no wonder they outwitted the prison guard with ease. With Boris's cunning and Lily's charm, they made a great team. But don't be fooled by Boris's apparent affection for Lily. When it comes down to it, he's got no qualms about sacrificing her to save himself, as he nonchalantly tells her before letting her go during their daring escape. It's clear that Boris's apathy towards humans extends even to those he supposedly cares about. As for Boris's ability to reproduce, well, that's anyone's guess. Even though his species clearly has the ability to reproduce, with his cold, heartless demeanor, it's hard to imagine him having any kind of romantic or familial attachment. But then again, who knows what kind of twisted creatures lurk in the depths of space. One thing is for sure, if Boris ever does have offspring, they're going to be just as ruthless and cunning as their dear old dad. What is the true extent of his physical powers? If you thought Boris the animal's only power was his ability to be a heartless, ungrateful psychopath, think again. This spider-like alien packs a serious punch thanks to his Boglodyte DNA. Boris shares the superhuman strength of his Boglodyte brethren, able to crush a tin of metal with his bare hands with no trouble. And if that wasn't enough, he can sprout appendages that look like fingers from his feet for extra grip. Talk about being handy. But Boris's real claim to fame is his ability to exist in a space vacuum. That's right, this guy can walk out of a Lunar Max prison with no breathing apparatus and bound across the moon's surface like it's no big deal. Talk about out of this world. And let us not forget Boris's trusty sidekick, the Bog-Eye. This small creature that looks like a crab lives in a hole in Boris's palm and can shoot deadly spikes at a fast pace, making it Boris's primary weapon. Boris can even troll the Bog-Eye with grunting command noises, proving that he's not just a brute, he also has some serious communication skills. The spikes that Boris the animal fires sure do pack a punch, as seen in the Men in Black movie, where Agents K and J are pushed off the roof as they use a door as a shield against the ghastly spikes that Boris fires at them. Can Boris be killed? What happens to his species if he dies? Well. It seems Boris the Boglodyte has finally met his maker. The question on everyone's mind is, can Boris be killed? And the answer is a resounding yes. It only took a young K and a trusty gun to do the job. After revealing his true form and attempting to start the cycle again, Boris found himself at the mercy of a determined K. But instead of arresting him and letting the cycle continue, young K decides to take matters into his own hands and shoot Boris dead. And just like that, the Weasel was also eradicated from existence. But what happens to Boris's species now that he's gone? Well, it seems they were in for a real treat because they starved themselves into extinction. You see, the parasitic Boglodytes can't survive without feeding off the resources of a planet. And with Boris and the Weasel unable to carry out their roles, they're left with nothing to feed on because the ArcNet was deployed by Agent K that acted as a shield against them, and the Boglodytes couldn't reach the next planet after Earth on time.
You're gonna lose. Let's agree to disagree.
Marvelous verdict. And there you have it, folks. We have explored the anatomy of Boris the Animal from Men in Black 3 and uncovered some of the secrets that make him such a fearsome foe. From his scary true form that looks straight out of a H.P. Lovecraft work to his ability to produce projectiles, Boris is a force to be reckoned with. While we may not have all the answers, we have certainly gained a greater appreciation for the complexity of this intergalactic creature. Who knows what other extraterrestrial marvels are waiting to be discovered? One thing is for sure, as long as there's aliens out there, we will need the Men in Black to keep us safe. And with that, we come to the end of this video. We hope you've enjoyed it, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Until next time, have a good one, folks, and stay safe.